Hey y'all, Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. If you haven't checked it out, you'll want to. The Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. Yeah, go check it out. We'll leave a description down. We'll put where you can find it down below. Also, check out freesteading.com. You'll be glad you did. I'm going to try to have a bigger presence out there. But before we get into it, I just want to say, look, y'all, here's why I love living here so much. See that beautiful blue sky without any streaks in it? Yeah, that's pretty cool when that happens. Also, because of the altitude and there's very little humidity in the air, I can be outside when it's like high 30s in a t-shirt and feel like $1,000,000. And speaking of which, a lot of people ask where we get these t-shirts. Go check out my friend and mentor, Eric Sider. Get the ballinest permaculture t-shirts on planet Earth. Well, today we're going to discuss, because we get asked this all the time, whether in emails and, other correspondence, people are always asking, hey, what should I buy? Well, today we're going to talk about that, the 3 most important purchases we made over this last year. All right, right off, let's just get to it. You see this wood? I'm going to lead right into it. All right, right at the top of the list is this one right here. It's a buck stove made right here in North Carolina, not very far from where we live right now. Very efficient as far as stoves go. Now, in an ideal and perfect world, I would have chosen a whole house rocket stove, but I could have probably done it, could have made it happen, but there's a number of reasons why I didn't, at least not here. But this thing was not cheap, and it was worth every single penny. In fact, when we bought it, less than a year ago, I'm pretty sure that's when it was, what we had here was an old fireplace. It really wasn't fit to do anything, but we put this in, put the stack up there, put everything in there. William and I did every bit of it. Took almost no time at all, really, to get it all squared away. Put everything in there as it ought to go, kicked it off, and I gotta say, this thing heats the entire place. Now, it was doing all it could. I mean, I had this thing practically glowing over this really cold weather over the last few days, and it couldn't even keep up. But if in a pinch, we could have basically, even without power, we could have had everybody within close proximity of where I am and been completely fine. And in fact, it's enough to take enough of the chill out where I doubt it would have gotten below 60 degrees in here if only this was running. But even when it was negative 17 outside, this thing was still knocking a big chill out of the air. Now, also, the other thing, this house I didn't build it, so it's electrically heavy. And so if we were to lose power, and that's what we gear everything up, remember, it's all about permaculture preparedness. In fact, this shirt kind of says it all as far as where we stand with the nature of things right now. But in addition to this thing being what it is, in a pinch, I could cook in there. I could get those coals hot, cook some potatoes in there if I wanted to. But like right now, what I'm using it for is this is what I put the bone sauce in, okay? Well, it stays in the garage typically, and it got frozen. Well, that's not a good thing. I can leave it here and get it done. And with the problem being the solution, so all those trees out there that got to come down, well, what are we going to do with them? Well, it makes really good sense that they graduate to here, at least the trees that we can't use for other things, whether building material or whether William's going to carve something out of it. All the things that we can't do anything with, right here is where it goes. And this thing is blazing. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next on the list, and it ain't cheap, but nothing worth having is. And, we got to save for certain things. And this one is without a doubt one of the best preparedness tools. Now, it does require electricity for those times where maybe you don't have electricity. Right now, one of the big things going right now in Buffalo, New York, somebody just sent me this article of all these people out there right now because all the stores are shut down. They got another storm that's going to be blowing in, and they got nothing to eat. They're saying, well, the grocery stores don't have anything, can't get to them, whatever the case may be. Well, this is why we have such a thing. And the way we go about it is when Michelle cooks something, she cooks a lot of it. So whatever's left over, it winds up in here. Now it has these trays you can put up in there, and it basically, you hit the start button and the thing pretty much does itself. I mean, now I will say that in this garage where it's located right now, when the weather is really, really hot, you have problems. When the weather is really, really cold, you have problems. It can't keep up. So you got to be careful about that part. But if we keep the doors shut on the garage, every blue moon, run the heater we have over there, that little salamander, it'll knock enough of the edge off this thing. And there's been a number of times where in the dead of summer, we brought this thing in the house. Yeah, it makes noise, but so what, man? I'm putting back food. And that's part of that permaculture preparedness that we constantly work on, because permaculture is preparedness. Preparedness is permaculture. Now let's go look at what this thing has produced in just using it as a byproduct for extra meals. Oh yeah, see, now there's a whole lot of celebrities out there that got closets full of shoes and stuff like that. Bam! I got closets full of food, yo. So a lot of everybody else does too. So this one of many pantries you could have, okay? Concerning this freeze dryer, I'll just grab the first thing off I grab. Okay, Spanish rice with beef, okay? All it is, a lot of times just leftover meals that she makes. I mean, Michelle makes enough to feed a platoon anyway. So all we do is take whatever's left over there and then you fill it up. And believe it or not, y'all, just after a month, I mean, like right here, sausage, egg, and potato hash, okay? It could be a really good way, and one of the ways in which we use it is if you have something, and I want to give a shout out to Ben and Denise over at Renewed Homestead, because honestly, it was never even on the radar until they pointed it out to me. In that it's a really good way when you're up to your eyeballs in harvest or whatever the case may be, it's a really good way to get that stuff squared away, put back on the shelf without having a whole lot lost to spoilage, where you're going to turn back around and feed it to your pigs and chickens. It is a beautiful thing. Now, like I said, it is not inexpensive, but it is well worth every dime we paid for it, no doubt. Now, this last one, y'all, if you would have told me this would have made my list, I'd have never believed it. But there's a couple of reasons for it. Right here is one of them. It's a battery-operated chainsaw. I know, I'm a big believer in gas and the power that it brings and all the things that it does. But this thing has everything you need to get through any of the logs you're seeing right out here on this porch, and a whole lot more. Now, it's not cheap. In fact, nothing we've talked about so far is cheap. Now, yeah, I'll drive 25-year-old vehicles and not even think twice about it. But when it comes to these other items, I'm a big fan of them. What do you think? This is my little Fauci elf. These are some of the things we gave away in the pimp cast. He even talks.
Hey, don't hug your mother. Deck the halls with lots of boosters. Vaccine shots, booster jabs will handle the way.
Yeah. And look what's on his butt. Bam! That says it all. Do you wanna operate this chainsaw?
Science. Vaccinate.
Anyway, had to throw in a little bit of that. But anyway, we gave away a couple of these on the Permaculture Pimp Cast. But anyway, going back to the chainsaw, apparently he approves. The cool thing about this thing is that remember, we always plan for, I keep beating this down everybody's throat, but it's preparedness. This is something that I could have in operation even if I didn't have fuel. All I need is right there, that big heat tab in the sky to run the solar generator that can charge these batteries, that can cut this wood and give me heat, which makes the food that I can put in the freeze dryer. Now, granted, I need power for that. But it's all these little things along the way that have been an enormous help to us. Like I said, I won't spend money on foolishness, but I will spend it on things that enhance our lives and make us that much more prepared. That's really what it's all about. And folks, I know that I've been beating this dead horse in so many different ways, because if you haven't noticed in just this last storm, whether contrived or otherwise, wink, wink, you better have your stuff on lock. You better have things put back in case you don't have power, because the chances are there's going to be a lot more of this. We're only at the beginning of winter, okay? So it's about to get real more and more and more. But these are the ways to get ahead of things. All right, y'all. So if you need anything from us, whether it's the bone sauce, which right now is the perfect time of year to put it on, comfrey, you can still put it in the ground if you can still work that soil. anything you need, freeze dryers, EMP shields, all that stuff is down below. But think about, I know money's really getting tight these days, but if you got to spend anything, spend it on things that are going to enhance your life, improve your life, and save your life in the time when you really, really need it. All right, y'all. Till next time, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion. We'll see y'all next time.